If you love music, then do more than just listen. Connor's Music.
That was fun. It was like I hit the go button and I went into buffering mode right away. Anyways, welcome to John Connors Live. This is the we've got multiple facets to today's episode. So it's the Argos won the Grey Cup edition / Connors Music's restringing special. We want to chat about guitar maintenance, and we got a special guest. And / one of my released a sorry, I thought I blinked out there for a sec. Released a cover video, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So we're gonna have some fun today. So please, as we are live, it's 8:31 Eastern time on Wednesday, November 20th. So if you have comments, questions, guitar maintenance questions, you want to chat about the Argos, or you want to make a comment about the video later on, throw them in the chat. We're going to respond to them live as best we can. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guest, and we're going to start chatting about how do you know when it's time to restring your guitar. So please welcome to the live stream, Dr. Dave.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
Good, you? Thanks for having me today.
Dave, we did it. Yeah, we did a test, right?
Yeah.
We did the test, the sound test and a speed test.
Yeah.
And then it got bad.
Yeah. It was like everything was bumping and smooth, and then it's like, I don't know what just happened. You could just switch those cables back and go the old school way. Did you close your door all the way and cringe that white cable?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Well, we'll see if we hang in there. I don't know what changed. Like, I think we're good now.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody came and started watching a video on our Wi-Fi here at
streaming 4K video on some platform.
Yeah, could be. You know, you never know what's going to happen on Connor's Music. So, for example, we've got this great restringing promo, but we get asked all the time, how do I know if it's time to restring my guitar? It's fine. You know, how do I know? And so why don't you give your assessment, and then I've got a guitar. I'll show you, and you tell me if you think it needs to be restrung. And it's funny, we're doing it like this because we've brought you in live as a special guest all the way from the repair shop.
Yeah,
down the hall,
the remote location.
You know, I'm not gonna show it to you in the shop. I'm gonna show it to you via my little lens here, and then you can see from there and decide.
It'll be fun to try and analyze it from here, so I'm excited.
Arnold says hi.
Hey, Arnold.
Yeah, well, he said hi to me, I guess, but you know, I'm sure.
Good point. That is a very good point.
Thanks, Arnold, for tuning in and saying, "Hey, we appreciate it." And it's great. If you have any input, Arnold, we're talking strings today, so because that's the main thing. Like for guitar maintenance, the main thing is replacing your strings, right? Like
100%.
As far as general maintenance, it's going to happen all the time. And it's interesting because, again, when I think to conversations I have with customers in the store, one of them is not knowing that, right? Like thinking that you buy a guitar with strings and those strings are going to last for the lifetime of the guitar. And that's okay. You know, that's why we're here, is to help with misconceptions and with information. We want to be that for people in our community here and online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arnold says hi to both of us.
Hey. I think you have to think of strings more like oil change on your car. Like You might not have to do the brake pads right away. You might not have to, but your oil change is scheduled. It's regular. You do it all the time. And string changes should be more like that.
Now, we might have a lot of people watching live that are like, ooh, I don't change the oil in my car regularly either.
That's a good point. I may be a bit of a culprit, but I always change my strings. So
Well, here's what it comes down to, right? Is that question of when do you need to? Can
Right.
your car run with old oil?
Yeah.
Is it good for the car?
No.
Gonna
Does it
run as
affect the performance? Yeah.
yeah. So can
Yeah.
you play a guitar with ancient strings on it?
Yes.
Yeah, like they could be a year old, 2 years old. It'll still play, right?
Mhm.
Or
May not stay
possibly.
in tune, but
Right. And is the tone going to be as good?
definitely not. I think what happens though is it's like a slowly diminishing thing. So day 1 doesn't sound like day 2. You got them broken in by day 6. 3 weeks in, you think they're the same as they were the day you put them on, but they're not. 3 months later, you're like, I think they're still good. And then you change them, and then you go, whoa, holy cow. It's like when
Yeah.
we're testing sound systems, eh?
Yeah.
You play a speaker that's like average quality, and you're like, oh, that sounds really good. Then you play a super high quality one, you're like, whoa, that sounds better. Then you go back to the first one, you go, how could have I ever enjoyed the sound of that?
Right. You know,
Yeah.
we're talking really about the sweet spot of tone, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And the reason
Absolutely.
why I say that is that gives me an opportunity to like sort of get off topic for a minute
Okay. Yeah.
and talk about my favorite Canadian football team, my favorite football team overall, but I'm pointing out that they're Canadian because they play in the CFL and they just won the Grey Cup. And it's cool to celebrate that. And one of the personas, one of the icons of the Toronto Argonauts is Pinball Clemens. And he
Absolutely.
gave a speech that included a chat about the sweet spot that I just want to share with everyone right now. So I'm going to bring this in. Share screen. Show me the pinball. Okay, and we're going to hit play on this.
We have this little thing that we do, right? And what we want for everybody in the plaza is to find the spot. Yeah. When I say sweet, but you say spot, ready? Sweet, 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 sweet. Now this time with more passion, okay? When I say sweet, you say spot. Ready? Sweet, sweet, sweet.
All right, there we go.
I love it.
There we go. So that's the sweet. You know what I just realized too? I was sharing that, talking about the Argos winning the Grey Cup like in 2024. I
Yeah.
didn't notice that was from 2022
Oh,
when they won the Grey
sneaky.
Cup 2 years ago.
But it still rings true today.
So absolutely. So when you're talking about guitar tone, just like the Toronto Argonauts and winning Grey Cups, you want to find that sweet spot, which means getting fresh strings, getting nice tone. I think you're going to pick up your guitar more if it sounds and plays great,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
means you're going to have more enjoyment. You're going to improve more. Like there's no reason not to do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now how do you know, right? Like, you know, you don't have to come in every week and put fresh strings on,
Some
you
people
know,
do.
unless you're playing like 20 hours a day,
Yeah.
right? So I've got this guitar. I'm going to show you. You tell me, Dave, what do you think if it needs new
Yeah.
strings or not?
Let's see how this goes. Switch your camera to 4K.
I only have 720p.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, no, not that. Okay. All right. So you see these strings on this undisclosed guitar.
Yeah.
You can't really tell, can you?
Uh.
I'm just going to put it right up to the lens. I can't see
Yeah.
anymore what I'm showing you.
No. Huh.
They just
From
look like
here,
strings.
it's hard to tell, and that's a good point. It is hard to tell. Sometimes it's really
Yeah.
hard to tell if your strings are dead. Let me grab a special tool here and just take a closer inspection here.
What? Wonder where he's going.
Yeah.
What's the special tool?
You need new strings.
Well, what was the special tool?
I don't know.
Oh,
That one.
so Dave says he has a look at it here, and one of the things I see often is discoloration. So there's a certain color strings have when a nice phosphor bronze or an 80-20 bronze string has a certain color to it. When you start to
Yeah.
see those little discolorations, then that's an outward sign of an inward problem,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
And
and I can see
Gary
which
says-
chords you like to play. It looks like A minor, maybe C a little bit. Those strings are looking pretty cruddy there. Yeah, D. You definitely play D.
Yeah, I play a lot of D's.
Yeah. The special tool
for
was my
sure.
inspecting eye.
Oh, there you go. So Gary, hi,
Hey, Gary.
and Dan DeMarco says hi, John and Dave. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So we were just chatting about this. So now the guitar, it plays okay. I played it earlier today when I was teaching. I didn't have any particular problems, but it wasn't super inspiring. I did find the tone was mellowed out, right?
Mhm.
And it's it's a beat up old guitar, but it's got some nice tone on it with fresh
Yep.
strings. And I would definitely be more inclined to want to play it.
Yeah.
If that
Well,
were the case, right?
And I've had people come in and say, I don't know, I don't really like this guitar. I think maybe I should get a new guitar. And I go, well, why don't we try just cleaning it up, give the neck an adjustment, lower the action, put some fresh strings on it, hydrate the fingerboard, and see what you like. And then 99% of the time they come back like, oh my gosh, this is better than the day I bought it.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm like, yeah, it's wild how a fresh set of strings and a little love is going to make that guitar feel just amazing.
So we'll circle back to fingerboard hydration in a second here, but Gary asks, so when your strings are 4 years old, should I change them?
Yeah, probably, because even if you weren't playing it, like just the natural oxidization from the air and moisture and temperature change is enough to corrode a lot of strings. Like if they were coated strings like the Dario XS or XT, they might still be fine and seem brand new and fresh, and they may be okay. But if they're not a coated string, then it's likely they've already dulled and diminished.
Right. So it's like definite if it wasn't coated. If it's coated, it's still a probability after 4 years.
It's quite, 4 years is a long time to be sitting around. And if you played it, then definitely.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a guitar itself always does better being played. Like they're designed to be played, right?
Yes.
So a guitar sitting unplayed for 4 years isn't good for it.
Yeah, and that's actually a good segue to the hydration of the fingerboard. A guitar that sits for 4 years is just drying out slowly, right? Or it's getting damaged by temperature change or moisture. So when we do a restringing here, we even not a setup, just a restring, will hydrate the fingerboard. And I got one on the bench here. I'll show you. So this one, you can see how shiny that rosewood is. That's just the hydrating oil getting soaked into the wood. That's wild how shiny that is. So this fingerboard is going to be nice and hydrated. It's going to feel beautiful. The frets aren't going to start to pop out because a dry fingerboard, the fret ends tend to pop out. They need to get glued back in or pressed back in, depending. Fingerboards can crack and split. Inlays start to lift out. All sorts of things go wrong when a guitar just sits around, doesn't get loved or cared for. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Restring is a perfect time to hydrate.
And so we've got this promo on, and I want to talk about the promo quick because it includes something that I then want to explain a little bit and get you to explain to the people at home.
Sure. So
the promo is the Connors Music semi-annual, because we do it twice a year. Yeah.
Yep.
Because biannual is every 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So the semi-annual restringing special. So we're doing their fall restring special. It's $39.95. It includes a restringing, which includes the polish anyway. Like we always do that, and fingerboard hydrate and everything, and up to $10 in strings. So either $10 off a premium set or up to a $10 string.
Yeah.
and then a setup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it's a free $50 setup. We do a unique thing here at Connors. We separate our restring and our setup price because I'm comfortable with customers who love to restring their own guitar regularly, and they're good at that, and they bring it in and just need a setup and they don't need a restringing. I'm happy to do those setups for people. Most other shops, if you look at their pricing, a setup seems more expensive because it includes a restringing. But we combine the restring price with the setup price, and that puts us competitive in the market for everyone else's setup price. So our regular restring is 35 and a setup's 50, and a set of strings start around $10 pretty much. You might get a set around 7 or 8 now, but typically it's about $10. So it's $55 of savings because we're going to do the restring, hydrate, check all the hardware, test the pickup, polish, clean. We even do minor fret work if needed while we're there, like within reason, a couple frets that need maybe a little resetting or a little bit of file if you got a high fret end. Or a sharp fret end. We'll take the fret ends down there and make it comfortable to play again. And that would be from that fingerboard shrinking over that 4-year period there, Gary, where you haven't done anything. That might have caused that, and the fret ends get sharp. I'm
He
here for you,
says, "Guess
Gary.
it
Don't
needs."
worry.
So he said he doesn't play it, but he guess it
Yeah.
needs your love.
It might need
And
just that
I
little
know
bit of love.
Gary has said he's had some issues with his hands playing, but
yeah.
maybe a nice low setup. I know we've tried things,
Yeah.
but hopefully he
Yeah.
can get back into playing
But
at
for
some
a
point.
lot of people, the guitar might have had 12s or 13s on it, and we could go down to a 10 or switch it to silk and steel or something. There's lots of options we can talk
So
about.
you're using doctor speak there. So to put that in layman's terms, the thinner string that has less tension and is easier to press down, you could go to a lighter string, right?
If you have
You were
hypo
actually
low action.
yes, and so when we talk about action, right, whether the string itself is high or low to the fingerboard can be adjusted with the setup, right?
Mhm.
And it was funny because we've had a couple of circumstances this week alone where people were in the store and didn't realize that was something that could be changed on the guitar.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and I'll segue. It's segue day right here.
Yeah.
So the other guitar I got behind me, this is a beautiful Dan Electro baritone, but it actually does need a little setup because it's buzzing on the first fret.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That happens. Guitars need setup work, and we bring them to Dr. Dave. And Dan DeMarco here says Dave's the best there is.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
And Gary says we'll be in to see you. I need no vibration. But it was good enough. The rest of the guitar, it only had that one spot that needs a little bit of setup work. That
Yeah.
I actually used it with a student, and we produced a little cover video this week that she just posted today. So at the
Oh,
end of
nice.
today's show, I'm going to share Kate McDonald's cover of "Hanging by a Moment" by Lifehouse. So that's coming up.
Awesome.
Coming up in the show. We'll keep everyone in suspense.
Yeah.
So what would you do? We've called you Dr. Dave because of all the great work you do on people's instruments and getting them back to good health, right? So
Yeah.
what kind of things do you do if it's let's say if it's buzzing, you're trying to play a chord or a note and you're doing everything right, you're listening to your teachers, you're pressing down the right spot, you're strumming it right, and yet you're getting a sound. What does Dr. Dave do?
Well, that's an interesting one because there's a few different locations for buzz. So if you're strumming it open and it's buzzing, more often than not, that has something to do with the nut, which is the part where the strings go through at the headstock where the machine heads are. So that means that the string action is so low, it's hitting the first fret. If it doesn't do that playing open, but you play a chord in the first, 3 to 5 frets and you're getting buzz, typically the neck is back bowed then. So with the back bowed neck, then the strings are hitting that the top of the neck frets in that region. But sometimes it plays fine up there, and you're like, oh no, that plays fine in the first 5 frets, but I go up past the 12th and it's all fretting out and buzzing up there. So that usually means down at the bridge saddles that they're too low. So it could be any one of those three things, or it could be other things as well, but typically it's one of those three things. So it's either a neck adjustment, a nut adjustment, a bridge saddle adjustment, or a combination of all three. And that's typically what happens. If you're playing and it's one note, like you're like, oh, the whole thing plays perfect, but this one note buzzes. Well, that's usually a bad fret. So it's either bad fret wear or a loose fret that popped up, or it was never set up properly. Like the fret was never leveled properly. Right from factory, that happens. So you get the action all sweet, and suddenly, D at the 5th fret on your A string is buzzing, but only that note. Then we can go in and dress the top of that one fret, recrown it, polish it, and then get rid of that buzz. So those are the main things that happen when there's buzz. There's other factors that can be like a loose truss rod that's rattling, things like that. Loose machine head bushings can rattle and cause these weird sounds, sympathetic harmonies and buzzes that you go, I don't know what it is, and you kind of lose your mind trying to find it. Well, I've been looking at them for years, so that's how I got the name Dr. Dave, is I usually can get to it real quick and figure out what's going on. So
Do you remember who started calling you that? Like, it was a customer, right?
it was, yeah. Who was it though? That's a very good question. Hey, if anyone knows, put it in the chat.
Yeah, it'd be like, it was me.
It was
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
It might have
Claim
been.
to fame.
It could have been Dan. I could see Dan dubbing you Dr. Dave, but I feel like it was somebody else, and Dan just
I think it was
he would
like
use that when he comes in.
I think it started at the old shop. So we're like
Like
fif-
pre
over-
2009 anyways, right?
Yeah, a long time ago, I think.
Yeah.
And we have to be honest, I don't have a doctrine, and I'll just say that because I have had some comments made from actual doctors that they don't appreciate me using the doctor part.
Yeah, so if you're ticked off about us calling him Dr. Dave, I even put it in the description. Put it in the comments. Tell us.
Yeah,
We
let us
want
know.
controversy here.
Yeah. Now I do
was
say
thinking what
the
we
School
could
of
do,
Hard
though-
Knock. Oh, you go.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we could go Dr. Dave, and then it's comma PhD and whatever.
Yeah.
We'd go Dr. Dave, comma FOS. Full of shit. Ooh.
Ouch. See, I was thinking along the lines of like I've done. Okay, how old am I? 21. Like I was like 6 years old, sitting on the workbench with my Armin guitars, helping Dad. So I mean,
Yeah.
I've been at this 37 years fixing guitars. So if a doctrine is typically 10 years of school, I should have 3 doctorates.
Right, there you go. PhD times 3. Dan says I have called him that, but I didn't start it. So
Oh,
I wonder.
well,
who
maybe we'll
did.
get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe it was,
Okay, so now.
Adam Brady, maybe.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now what about the other way? So I go to play my guitar. I haven't played it in 4 years. I pull it out, and it's really hard to push the strings down because they're really high off the fingerboard.
Mhm.
What causes that problem typically?
Okay, so if it used to play great, and you stop playing it, and now it doesn't play great, Doctor off the net. Well, thank you.
Get your PhD.net .org.
Yeah. Then it's usually that the neck changed. So a neck is made of wood. Wood is really temperamental and susceptible to change with temperature, moisture, and all that. So as time goes, with the string tension pulling hundreds of pounds of tension forward, inside the center of the neck, there's a steel rod that counters that, and it's adjustable, and you can increase the amount of tension that counter the tension from the strings. So sometimes there's not enough tension on the truss rod, and slowly the wood just warps forward. So suddenly you have really high action, the guitar plays horribly, and you don't know what happened. So that's one of the ways. If a guitar didn't play wonderful before, it could be that the nut was too high from the manufacturer. And if we lower the nut, usually you can tell that if it's really hard to fret the first fret, then it's the nut. If it's past that, it's not the nut. So, and then once again, setup work from the bridge often can be way too high, or somebody else set it up poorly. That happens too. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying I've seen where they don't adjust the truss rod, but they lower the saddles way down, and then it's still high, but then it's buzzing at the same time, and it's really confusing. You're like, how is the string action high and buzzy? So
Was it like it was Mike Holmes, right? Who would go in to do a reno and then make fun of all the bad work that was done before? Was that Holmes on Holmes, right?
that was
So maybe we should do an episode where we do all the
I'm not gonna be that. No, because then people they come back after you, right? And they criticize.
Did people come back after Mike Holmes?
I think he ended up in court. He got.
Oh, okay. We don't want
I have
that.
to. You could look it up actually. If
there's too much good work we're trying to do, we want to.
You got Kyle there. See, just look and get him to Google if there was a
producer
court
Kyle
case.
is working off to the side here. Okay, look up if Mike Holmes is in prison or not. Okay.
Not in prison, but
I know. I'm just trying to make it more dramatic.
I think honestly, if I'm correct, because I am a carpenter by trade, he was using screws for a lot of things where he should have been using nails because he liked the way the screws pulled it together. And screws aren't rated for shear strength. So, but nails are, unless you get ERGs, the engineered fasteners that are rated for shear strength, but you have to make sure you're using a screw that is rated for that. And so there was a big controversy, I think, about that.
I'm glad you wrapped it up. We were about to get to wah moment.
You brought the doctor on. The doctor of carpentry. If you have a problem with your house, let me know. I probably can figure it out.
You have
I'll
doctor
send
like
Owen over.
Hey, you have doctor like penmanship.
Yes, it's horrible. It's not legible at all.
Yeah,
I worked really hard at that.
Good news is all the notes are done digitally now, right?
Yeah. It used to be legible, and then the smarter I got, the worse it got.
Oh, that's how it works, I guess.
Yeah. Better things to do.
Okay, there was a lawsuit. You're right. Okay, so we won't replicate the Mike Holmes formula.
No, I like the very positive thing, which is if you're not loving the way your guitar plays, bring it in and let us love it.
Yeah, and because first and foremost,
actually,
we're Bob says GRK screws.
Oh, that's them, not ERG, GRK. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks,
there
Bob.
you go. Thanks, Bob. So,
guitar love, right?
It does. Yeah. So like our first love here is sharing music with people and teaching. So our repair shop often becomes that too, is trying to share some info about guitar maintenance. Just like we approach teaching and teaching, it permeates the way we sell too, really. Like it's an experience of trying to help make sure people have enough knowledge to make an educated choice too. So my question now is if anyone has any questions about guitar maintenance, setup work, restringing, string choices,
humidification,
other problems that maybe we didn't address. Yeah, humidification, absolutely. If you have any questions about that, throw them in the chat right now. We've got lots of eyeballs on the show today, and lots of great comments from Gary and Dan, and we really appreciate that. And
Bob. I always forget the name of those screws.
Yes, there you go. It's always good to have somebody watching who knows those little things you can't remember. So if you have any questions, throw them in right now, because we're gonna wrap up shortly, and I'm gonna share this cover video. Or everyone's like, "Wow, he covered it so thoroughly. There's no leftover pieces of information." Okay. Sarah says, "Dave took the time to walk me through things when I broke a string. You guys are so helpful." Oh, that's so nice.
No problem. Yeah, I love helping and teaching about it, because the more you know, the happier you'll be and the less fearful you'll be with your guitar. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh no, XYZ, this happened," and they're kind of panicked. And I'm like, this is really simple. Don't worry. We'll just quickly do this and this, and away we go.
You can use the GRK screws when we make the
perfect, Bob. I can't wait. Bob is a bro, and we're working on a project, so I'm looking forward to it.
Dave, did the railroad spikes show up yet?
No.
Okay,
sorry,
but you better explain. Like this sounds like you're about to go and work for the trains.
Yeah,
the CPR, and which is kind of interesting because our dad did work, and our grandfather, for CP rail, CN,
I think.
Anyways, he worked.
At least that was
he worked on the trains.
Yeah.
And so we'll get him on as a guest to talk about trains sometime. But what is he talking about, Dave? Railroad spikes.
Oh, for his banjo, an old school way of capoing your fifth string. Oh, there, Dan's making an answer. is to use these little railroad spikes, they're called, but they're like from like a model train, like way back in the day. They're tiny little nails, and we tap them in along the fingerboard, and you can hook the fifth string under there as a capo. Real old school kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, why don't we share the cover video? That'll give people to think if they have any questions, and then we'll come back and quickly reply if there's anything in there. But otherwise, then everyone needs to know. So today is Wednesday, November 20th. The Restring special starts Monday, November 25th. You can bring your guitars in really now. We're starting to log some in.
Yep.
But we're going to start doing them Monday, November 25th through until Saturday, November 30th. And if you bring it in and get it logged in for the special, we get it done that week. And you get the great price, the $39.95. And then if you want a premium string, like, for example, D'Addario XS, then you can just pay the difference. And if you want to double down, D'Addario XS strings, the promo starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy your own strings to do your own restringing, because we just reminded you that's a good idea to do it, then you can come on and get your D'Addario XS strings on sale. If you want to have us put those on for you during the special, then you can double down, right? You can get the $39.95, take $10 off the promo price, which is phenomenal, right?
And if you're
Bob
someone,
says, put me in for 3. So I imagine that means he's bringing 3 of his axes into the
beautiful
shop.
Bob. I look forward to it. And for somebody who does change their strings a lot, this is a really big promo from D'Addario. If you wanted to call ahead and say, hey, I want to pack like a box of 10 or something, we can hook you up. We can make that happen. We don't normally stock a box of 10, but for somebody who's changing their strings every couple of weeks, they're gigging and all
you
the
mean
time,
like as a regular deal thing?
Yeah, bring the guitar in, get the restring special, the setup, grab a set of strings, and then order a box at the special. We can hook you up with a whole box or a shop box or something, and then you have strings for your tour. It's no problem.
Yeah, there you go.
Let us know.
So let me share. I'm going to share the cover video here. And then if anyone else has any questions about guitar maintenance for the doctor, the non-doctor, the undoctor,
doctor.
Yeah. Then we'll present those to him then. So this is my student Kate, and she did a cover video. We did it here at the music shop of "Hanging by a Moment" by Lifehouse. It's a song she's loved for a long time and been working on, and she's playing guitar and singing. And I added the riffs on the Dan Electro baritone and some harmony. So I'd like to share that with you guys now. So here it comes.
Sweet.
Do, do, do.
2, 3, 4.
Desperate for changing, starving for truth, closer to where I started, chasing after you. I'm falling even more in love with you, and letting go of all I've held on to. I'm standing here until you make me move. I'm hanging by a moment here with you. Forgetting all I'm lacking, completely incomplete. I'll take your invitation. You take all of me. I'm falling even more in love with you, and letting go of all I've held on to. I'm standing here until you make me move. I'm hanging by a moment here with you. I'm living for the only thing I know. I'm running and not quite sure where to go. And I don't know what I'm diving into. I'm hanging by a moment here with you. There's nothing else to lose. There's nothing else to find. There's nothing in the world to change my mind. There's nothing else. nothing else. There's nothing else. Desperate for changing, starving for truth. Closer to where I started, chasing after. I'm falling even more in love with you. I'm letting go of all I've held on to. I'm standing here until you make the move. I'm hanging by a moment here with you. I'm living for the only thing I know. I'm running and not quite sure where to go. And I don't know what I'm diving into. I'm hanging by a moment here with you. Hanging by a moment. Hanging by a moment. Hanging by a moment. I'm hanging by a moment here with you.
All right. That was fun.
That was beautiful.
Oh. There we go. Okay. There, Ross says, good job with the song. She's an inspiration. She works so hard at it. She has a lot of fun. And the joy on her face when we nailed that take, because we did do a few takes, right? Like any good studio musicians will, you want to take a few to get it right. And we got all the way through it. She was pretty excited. It was pretty fun.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so I left a window open there for some questions, but I didn't see any come in. So hopefully that means we covered everything. I think Arnold says we did.
Perfect.
And then, like we said, start dropping by with your guitar. And again, if it's something you're going to do on your own, you can take advantage of the D'Addario XS special. It's a big promo that is going out, all around. And Connor's Music definitely jumped on board. We love the product. So if we can get it to you even more affordably, we're excited to do that. And then, and then for the restring special starting Monday, we'll be knocking them out of the park, getting them ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you for sharing that. I'm late. I just caught the end. Well, the good news is, Kate, you've seen the whole video, and you were there. And we had I'm sure you saw the comment I posted there. Ross saying good job, and Arnold with the applause there. So we got some musicians making those comments, Kate. I'll let you know that. And
is there
Arnold says thanks. I appreciate that.
Does Kate have a place where she's posting those
go ahead.
videos? Does Kate have a place where she's posting
good point.
Yeah. Does she have YouTube?
Yeah, so that that was her YouTube channel I shared that from. Let me just it's a good point.
Yeah, give Kate a follow. Give Connor's Music a follow.
So it's
connected.
Kate in Canada. Because she's sort of famous online.
Can you put that in the chat, John?
Sure, yeah. So you can. Oh, you know what? I'll put the link.
Yeah,
let's put the link to her YouTube channel.
I like that.
She's got some other cover videos there, some of which we've done together. Some she does solo.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we go. Kate in Canada's. Hey, it's Kate in Canada. Link we're putting in the chat there, and that's going. Okay, it went to. There we go. It's on the comment section of Facebook. It's on our YouTube, or if you're watching on Twitch, it's there as well. So you can click on that link and go to YouTube to watch that video in full, not streamed, right? It's actually a little better quality, direct from her YouTube, and then and check out the other videos. And then Bob says, "See you soon, boys. Time to work on things." Love that.
Beautiful, Bob.
And then Dave here adds a very cool little guitar emoji. So you got to love that. Thanks for that, guys. Thanks for tuning in for the show. And we're going to see you in the shop during the Restring special.
Beautiful. Yep.
Yeah. And we've got some other promos coming up in store as well. So definitely pop
And-
in and say hi.
I'll just say, if your guitar needs more than a setup or restring, we do full line repairs. So regluing bridges, cracks, all that stuff. If you
Installing
need it
pickups.
done, new pickups, electronics, anything you need, we
Don't
can
you
figure
have
it out.
one right on the bench there? That
I do. It's just a hole.
right now, but that hole will
We're
be.
doing some fancy stuff with this one because it's a very old style preamp, so we have to make a retrofit plate for it, and then we'll be installing the Fishman Priestess Plus preamp system. A lot of the more modern preamps are a smaller bezel profile, so with the older ones, they can be a little sketchy. So we got a nice system for making that look great.
So Kate says I can't change it to just Kate in Canada because it's Kate in Canada, but that's okay. I like it.
I like
Kate in Canada. Yeah, it's fun. And then she said, "But I'll get my guitar in ASAP." There we go.
We'll take care of that.
Well,
for
she's
you.
playing all the time, so her strings
Oh, yeah.
definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for the comments. Been a lot of fun, and we'll see you again. We got the Christmas shows coming up. So John Connor's live in December. Hopefully, we'll have some student guests playing some Christmas songs. And but first and foremost, Restring Special starting on Monday. Hopefully, we'll see you in the store.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dave.
No problem. Cheers.
If you love music, then do more than just listen. Connor's Music.